Well, my iron is protesting. Did you know you can use a humble pillowcase to make the cutest little girl's dress? Isn't this so cute? I mean, come on. Today, I'm going to show you how to make a little pillowcase dress, and this can be made for older girls too. I'm going to come back at the end and talk about how to size this up. And I think after we make this, you'll see that you could even make this style of dress, maybe not using a pillowcase unless you're very thin. You can make this style of dress or nightgown or muumuu or swim cover up for yourself with just a rectangle of fabric if you just size this concept up. But I was reminded of this recently because I was going through like my keepsake box looking for something we needed for the wedding, and I pulled out this pillowcase dress that my girls wear when they were little. Isn't it so sweet? This one had like a crochet trim and embroidery on it, and it's just so sweet. I have pictures of them, or Layla I think, wearing this. They both wore it though. And then I made over the years several versions of this. I made them nightgowns, not out of pillowcases, but out of the same like concept. And let's see, here's one. I even made them longer ones for when they were older. This is one of the nightgowns I made the girls out of a vintage fabric. So I think once I show you how to do this, you will be off and running. You'll want to make all the pillowcase dresses for all the people, all the little people, and maybe try it for yourself. So let's get to the tutorial. I also made a printable version of this, as always, for my shop. So it has the one little pattern piece that you need. You don't need to have the printable version to make the pillowcase dress, but you can go get it for convenience if you don't want to refer back to the video over and over, so you'll know how to make it next time, so that next time you score some vintage pillowcases like this beautiful one, you will be able to pull that out and know what to do. Let's get started. Okay, you need very few supplies for this. The pillowcase is the main one. You also need some elastic. I'm using 3/8 inch elastic. And if you want, you can use some pretty decorative trims. I'll show you what I mean for that in a minute. This one already had that, and then this one had a cute piping detail around the bottom edge, so I kept that and I thought it was cute. This one does not have that. It just has a lot of white space down here, so I'm actually going to cut this off and hem it and add something cute. And then you also need some either pre-made bias tape or a fabric to make some bias strips out of. I promise it is way cuter if you make them. Pre-made is fine, but you know, it's polyester nowadays and it's not as easy to work with, and this just adds some cuteness. So if you're scared of making bias tape, I promise it's not hard. It doesn't take very long because these pieces are not very long. For this pillowcase, some of these come in king size. In fact, this one was a king size. And there is enough fabric here to make a pair of bloomers if I wanted to, because this size of dress fits, I would say, toddlers. I would say from like 14 months, probably to age 2, honestly. But if you have a toddler at hand that you're making a dress for, or a little girl, I could have made this so much longer, because look how much is left. This was king size. So take a quick measurement. You can always make it long to start maybe, and then try it on and trim it up. This one is actually the same. I think maybe I made the armholes a little bit bigger, but kids don't actually get very much wider as they grow, usually. I'm sure some kids do, but they usually just get longer and they slim down, and you can use the pillowcase also for an older girl, or you can just make a rectangle of fabric for yourself. But for this toddler size, we want 18.5 inches of length. So you have to kind of decide what you want on your pillowcase dress. In this flower version, I just measured from the bottom because I wanted to keep the bottom. In this version though, I want to keep this at the top. So I'm going to cut off the seamed end right here. Wait, or do I want the pretty at the bottom? Oh, here I go, agonizing. Maybe I'll see what lace trims I have and then I'll decide. Okay, I think I'm going to stick with this eyelet. Okay, I think I decided I want the biggest floral pattern at the bottom. So I'm going to cut this end off first. Whatever you decide to do, you just need to make it 18.5 inches or whatever length you determined for your own child. So we're going to keep it in a tube shape, but we're going to create the length we need. So 18.5 inches is what I'm going for. Okay, so now I have this tube. The first thing I need to do is deal with the hem. So I'm going to hem this by turning it and turning it. And then I'm going to add this lace trim underneath the hemline, like so. I'm gonna try to sew that in one step and see if I can do it. All right, here is my hem with my lace attached. Very cute. Okay, that's sort of an extra step for if you're not using a pillowcase with a cute bottom already. Okay, so now I pressed the pillowcase in half because one side always has a seam, the other side does not. So you need a crease on this side so you know the center. And then you need this one pattern piece. If you want to create your own, this is 2 inches by 4.5 inches, and then you just round out a corner. So I'm going to place this here, and I'll do this on the other side also. And this is how we're going to make the armholes and cut this notch out. This project is so simple, and I feel like clothes made from vintage linens are having a huge moment right now, not just for kids, but for adults. I've seen adults making the cutest things out of like vintage tablecloths, and in fact, even in stores, I think it was a Natural Life catalog I got in the mail, and they had tons of things made from what looked like vintage tablecloths. I'm sure they weren't, they were mass produced, but it was so cool. And I actually have some vintage tablecloths, so it would be really cute to make an adult top like this out of one of those if you can. Okay, so I've cut out my notches. The next thing we need to do is the elastic here at the top. This is going to be elasticated, elasticized. Both are words, by the way. Somebody corrected me recently in the comments. Both are correct. Okay, so first I'm going to go press under 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to press under 5/8 of an inch on both of these edges like this. Okay, I have both sides pressed, and now I'm just going to go stitch close to this folded edge so that I can create a casing for my elastic. Ta-da! All right, now all I need is some elastic. Mine is 3/8 inch elastic. And I'm going to cut 7-inch pieces. And we need 2 of them. Let me get my safety pin. I'm going to thread the elastic through each casing. Once I get it all the way till it's at this edge, I like to go ahead and sew it so I don't lose it. So I just stitch across. Then I keep going. And now I can remove my safety pin and stitch it to secure it on this end as well. Okay, there's one side, and now I'll do the other side. Okay, it's starting to be shaped like a little dress. So next we just need to choose a fabric for our straps. If you're using pre-made bias tape, you want to get the 1/2 inch double fold, but I'm going to cut some. I think I decided on this navy, or should I use this green? No, I like the green. This is my favorite color, green. I get it from Hobby Lobby. It's what my frog doll is made out of, and then I just kept buying more because I like it. Okay, so we're gonna cut bias strips, and our bias strips need to measure 32 inches. I'm working with 1/2 yard of fabric, and so I don't know if I can get there. I'm gonna have to piece them together, I think. But that's good, because then I can show you how to piece them together. A bias strip just means that you're cutting it on the cross grain of your fabric. So you're cutting it diagonally. It doesn't have to be a perfect diagonal. It's okay if it's not. But you just start by cutting a long strip or a long cut. And then you can cut more. I think I'm gonna need 3 of these. And I'm gonna cut them 2 inches. The reason that we cut it diagonally or on the bias is so that it can bend around those armhole curves. Okay, I'm gonna sew all 3 of these together, and then I should have enough for both. If you need to sew them together, you don't want to just sew them straight. You want to kind of hide the seam. Let me straighten these up so it will make more sense to you. I know I've demonstrated this before, but if you're new here, this is what you do. You put them together, right side together, at a right angle like this. And then you mark a diagonal line. See how they're overlapping at least 1/4 inch? That's so when you flip them out, there's no gaps. It's abstract, but just trust me. So we're gonna sew on this line. I'll do the other one too. So now I have one long strip. The extra gets cut off. And now you have this perfect seamed strip. So this will just, it will create less bulk than if you just sewed them straight across. Hopefully this is long enough now for both of my straps. For the toddler dress, you need to make them at least 32 inches. And I have exactly that. So this is perfect. Let me just straighten up the edges. And now I'm going to take these over to my ironing board. First, I'm going to fold this in half, press it in half, and then open that back out and press each end into the middle and then refold it in half. The reason you fold it in half to begin with is so you have a line to aim for. If you have a bias tape maker, go right ahead and use that, but most of the time I find it faster just to do it with my hands. So here we go. Here's my first one. I'm gonna try my bias tape maker just for fun for the next one. Just kind of go to, oh, this one's too small. Okay, here's what it looks like. It goes, your fabric goes in this way in a U shape. I always get a pin because you got to get it started. So you got to get it to come out the other side. See what I mean? It just sometimes feels faster to do it myself. Maybe one of you can correct my technique. Okay, so I got it started. Then, see how it folds? It starts doubling over on itself. So in theory, if you pin, okay, let me get it started. If you pin this to your ironing board, you can simply pull this and it turns, let me move you over here. Okay, so I have my iron here. I'm pulling this over this way. Wow, you still cannot see me. That's better. Whoa, my iron is protesting. Okay, and this bias tape maker is doing the folding for me as I iron, which is pretty slick if you can get it to work. So maybe it doesn't save time. It does save your fingers though if you're prone to burning yourself. Okay, here we are on that seam and I have to kind of work it over that. Okay, there. And then you still have to fold it in half yourself and press it again. So yeah, I guess that was pretty slick. I should get that out more often because it does save my hands from getting burned. And probably is a little bit neater looking too. All right, so we need to take care of these ends and I'm just going to tuck that under and refold and put a pin there on both ends. Open it out, tuck it and fold. Okay, and now I need to find the center and mark it. And then here's my dress. On the right side, I'm gonna put that center pin right here in the center. And then I'm going to open up my bias tape and insert the dress armhole into my bias tape all the way up towards the fold and fold it down and clip it on. And because my tape is cut on the bias, it will just curve so nicely all the way along my armhole opening. If you have trouble with this, or if you're a beginner, there are some things you can do to make this step easier, because sometimes as you sew it, it might shift and it's not quite catching the dress inside of the bias tape. Or it's not catching the back of the bias tape as you go. Because I'm just going to sew this on with a straight stitch close to this edge. But if you have trouble with that, you can try using a glue stick, just a regular Elmer's glue stick, to hold it in place, or you can zigzag stitch it on instead of a straight stitch, so that gives you a greater chance of catching everything that needs to be catched. Okay, so I'm all pinned, and I'm going to start with my dress right side up so that when I get to this part, I will be able to, even though the bulk of the dress will be on the incorrect side, like it'll be under the sewing machine, I want to make sure that I'm on the top though, instead of sewing under here, so it looks nice and neat under here, but not so much here. I want it to look nice and neat on top. So I'm going to start on this side. I'm going to sew this short end, and then I'm just going to sew all the way these edges together and just continue on sewing around my armhole, removing my clips as I go, and then continue sewing on this strap, on the edges, and then to this short end. Okay, here's how mine turned out. Beautiful. Now I just need to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, this side doesn't have a seam, and that's why I pressed a line, remember? Okay, now I'm going to start on this side. Oh, I'm going to start on this side. And zip all the way around it. Okay, now that you've seen this made, I'm sure you're thinking how easy this would be to adapt for older girls, for taller girls. And I bet, I was thinking like, I could probably put this on as a top. If I just made the elastic longer, probably, and the armhole slightly bigger. I don't have the body type for that, but if you do and you want to make a cute little summer top or pajama top, this would not be hard to adapt for that. And also, like I said with the flower, the white one, this one, there was so much fabric left because that was a king size pillowcase to make some little bloomers if you have a little bloomer pattern. This one is also long enough for that. I think this one's really cute. So when my girls were older and I was making them those nightgowns, all I did was cut fabric to the width of a pillowcase, sew a seam up one side, and just left the top and bottom open so I could hem them. I added a big ruffle onto the bottom of them, and they were just sort of long summer nightgowns for them. They loved them, pretty much wore them out. It's really funny looking through that keepsake bin to just kind of remember what things I chose to keep. Why did I feel like that was precious enough to keep that purple nightgown? I understand why I kept the pillowcase dress because it was the first one I made. It was so cute. They both wore it. But why did I keep the purple one? Anyway, the girls are glad that I did. Natalie saw this project on my desk yesterday and was like, oh, you have to keep these for when I have little girls. So that's what I'm going to do. I was going to list them on Etsy, but I will keep them for someday when my grandchildren can wear them. I hope this has been really fun for you. If you have questions or comments about pillowcase dresses, put them in the comments below. And let's chat about it. And I'll see y'all soon. Bye.